You need to familiarize yourself with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA. So for those of you who don't know what OSHA is it's part of the U.S. Labor Department, and what they do is they create standards for workplaces so that you are in a healthy and safe work environment. And so if companies, employers do not follow OSHA standards, they can be fined. And not only can they be fined, and fined heavily, and not only can they be fined, but they actually can shut down their operations until those deficiencies are dealt with. Okay? And so the OSHA has standards for workplaces as far as COVID is concerned, and creating a safe and healthy work environment for COVID. So you want to familiarize yourself. There's a 30-page booklet that they have out right now that gives certain guidelines that employers need to take if they are going to open their doors for their employees, right? And so OSHA, and as a matter of fact, and this is just hot off the press, OSHA just submitted a draft on Monday, like 3 days ago Monday, just submitted a draft to the White House for a federal safety standard for employers, as far as standards for employees to be able to come back to the office. Now, before, we didn't have the leadership in our previous administration to have the federal oversight. And you know what happened? So states are basically doing their own thing. States right now are doing their own thing. And so certain states, there's about 14 states or so that have emergency temporary standards right now. And I'll go over a few of what those standards are. But as of Monday, they just submitted a draft so that there's federal oversight over standards. So because you don't want employers just doing whatever they feel like they want to do. There needs to be a standard here, right? So that everybody is safe. So some of the standards that some of the states have done now, ensuring that there's 6 feet separations, right? So if you work in a cubicle, which is what I used to do, I work from home full time now, but when you work in a cubicle, okay, that means everybody can't come back to work if you're working in a cubicle. Because it needs to be 6 feet spacing, right? For social distancing. Employers need to be providing masks, providing hand sanitizers, right? They need to be providing hand washing soap, and there needs to be a deep cleaning there. And there are certain deep cleaning protocols they have to follow if somebody does catch COVID. And you guys, we as employees need to be notified if someone is positive and had been working in the environment. Not only that, according to OSHA standards, if you work in a cubicle, there needs to be sneeze guards. So it's important that you understand before you have the conversation with your employer about your concerns, find out what the protocols are first. And if they're not talking about the stuff that I just read to you, then there's a problem. You can submit an anonymous complaint to OSHA in writing. And what is that going to do? That's going to trigger a site visit. And what is that going to do? If they're not following the guidelines, then they can be fined. And nobody wants that. So if you talk about OSHA standards with an HR manager, you are definitely going to get their attention, okay? Because HR managers should know and be very familiar with OSHA, okay? So also, here's the thing that's concerning to me. So some of you guys have been telling me that your employer, as part of your roll back into the office protocols, are asking you guys to do a cleaning schedule. Now, I'm trying to be as objective as possible about this topic, but that really concerns me personally. But let's get back to the data, okay? But why it concerns me from a data standpoint is, again, according to OSHA, the cleaning products that your employer uses have to be Environmental Protection Agency approved, EPA approved disinfectant labels. So your employer can't go to the dollar store and pick up a cleaning wipes and think that's okay. It's not okay to go to the dollar store when it comes to the environment there in your in your office. You can't just do that. They have to be EPA approved disinfectant products, and there's a process that the cleaning has to go through that you may not be aware of. So I don't even believe many are trained to even follow certain cleaning protocols that OSHA has set. But that's my personal opinion. But as far as the data is concerned and the facts are concerned, that's an issue. So find out what the protocols are before you have the conversation. And you want to speak to the OSHA guidelines. Is your employer following the OSHA guidelines for creating a safe and healthy work environment? Okay? So that's number 3. So number 1, again, speak to the data trends of COVID. Can't just say, I don't feel comfortable. Number 2, speak to the specifics of what the vaccination is. It's not an FDA approved vaccination, right? Also speak to OSHA guidelines. Number 4, understand your company's goals. And I need to keep moving, right? Understand your company's goals. Why are they asking you to come back into the office? Why are they asking you? Are there productivity issues that your company is experiencing? Are there revenue impacting issues? So find out why first before you start saying, I don't feel comfortable. Well, find out the information first, because if it's productivity, then I'm going to go back to what I've been saying to you about keeping your performance data. This is why it's important to track your data and track your performance. So you can speak to your own specific productivity and say, I've been even more efficient during COVID than before COVID. If that's the case, and if there have been challenges during COVID, so speak to what you've been doing to overcome those challenges and speak to the trend of how things are moving in a positive direction during COVID. If it's revenue related, then speak to the sales that you've been bringing in. Many of you, including myself, I've had the best year during COVID than my pre-COVID years. Not having been able to talk to people physically. I'm in a sales-oriented role. I'm in a client-facing role, building relationships literally over video, over the phone, and doing better now than I was pre-COVID. And I'm hearing that from you guys as well. So speak to those sales. And if you are in a client-facing role, then I would challenge you to get some qualitative data. And I talk about quantitative and qualitative on my site, thebizslayer.com, on my training on performance reviews. So you definitely want to check out that training on how to maximize your payout using performance reviews, because I talk about qualitative and quantitative data. But you want to get some feedback and do a survey, which is a qualitative analysis. Ask your clients, what would make them comfortable? What are their protocols? What would make them comfortable to go back and meet face to face? And you know what I would do? I would actually create a chart, and I would have who you talk to, when you talk to them, and what the protocols are. Because from what I'm hearing, many are still not allowing face-to-face meetings. So get that data first. And if you're in a client-facing role, say, hey, I got some data and feedback that says my clients still are not allowing me to meet with them face-to-face. So this is, it supports me being able to stay working from home. Okay? So that's number 4. And also this is still number 4, but be open-minded and come to the conversation with some solutions. Again, it's not enough to just say, I'm not comfortable. Well, start thinking about what would make you comfortable. So if you say, okay, what would make me comfortable? I'm not comfortable coming in 5 days a week, but maybe, are you comfortable coming in 2 days a week? I'm not comfortable not knowing people. I'm not comfortable not knowing people's COVID testing status. So come to the conversation with a solution. Hey, employer, if you can make sure that we're all tested, everybody that comes into the office, which means that you may not have a full staff of people coming into the office because 1, social distancing. 2, you have to, if you're requiring people to be tested, you need to be tested every day or every couple of days. That's going to require kind of a staggered schedule. So employer, hey, I don't feel comfortable coming in 5 days a week, but maybe 2 days a week. And every time I come in, everybody has to be tested and everybody has to be negative. So when you are in the office, you know that you're around people who are COVID negative. So come to the conversation with solutions.